Meanwhile, all this week we're hearing from some of the finalists in the running for the Wessex Chambers of Commerce New Business Awards, and today we're speaking to Will Baxter, who's built an entire business around selling his book. His talk's entitled Around the World in 80 Handbags. If he wins, he's in with the chance of getting $2,000 in cash, and the winner's going to be announced on Friday, which is tomorrow, of course. Now let's speak to Will about the idea behind the book and the talks. Hello, thanks for coming in.
Hi Lee, great pleasure to be here. Thank you very much.
Here you are with a big red handbag in front of you.
You know, I'm see what it's like to be a woman and carry a handbag, and I find that you just pick up, just because you've got space, you put stuff into it wherever you go.
So it's just like a clutter magnet. So what was the idea? Because it's a very ear-catching title, Around the World in 80 Handbags. I said, did you go around the world? How did it all work?
Well, it was 3 years ago. I was 26, and I was heading off around the world to find myself. And I thought, well, you know, I want to be able to meet the locals and speak to the local people. So I came up with the icebreaker of asking random strangers what's inside their handbags.
And did people think you're a bit weird? It's one of those, it's on a knife edge, isn't it? Either people go, oh, that's great, yeah, let's have a chat, and it strikes up a great conversation, or people go, hang on, this is some kind of very strange guy who's coming up asking what's in my handbag.
Well, people think I'm a bit weird anyway.
So. Oh, fair enough, yeah.
Yeah.
So how did people generally, was it one of those things that you kind of learn a lot about human nature, and in fact, as soon as you do approach people and talk to them, that they do open up?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it really depends on the sort of energy you're getting off whoever you meet. So if you meet somebody, a salesman who's trying to sort of sell you something, they're not really going to go for the handbag thing. But if you come across someone who's incredibly gentle and sort of in tune with the earth, then they sort of tended to sort of tell me their life stories and really open up to me as a complete stranger within 1 or 2 minutes.
And did you kind of hone that technique of turning a conversation about the contents of a handbag into a conversation about the contents of your life? Did you begin to get quite expert at that?
A little bit. I mean, the other tool that I did is I took a photograph of all the people and the contents of the handbags, and then in the time of doing this, it takes half an hour of them actually taking the things out and putting them on the table. Then they just get chatting about what they've got, and it brings back old positive memories to themselves, and it really kind of reflects out the best of the people who I was talking to.
As you went around the world, I mean, we shouldn't judge a person by their handbag or the contents of their pockets, but I guess you do to some extent. And did there become obvious cultural differences between people's handbags and their reactions to them from one side of the world to another?
Yeah, well, I found that the older you were, the less that people carried, and sort of the more ambitious you were, the more that you carried. And then also that everyone carries a mobile phone and everyone carries a pen. But the difference between men and women is that women always have lids on their pens, whereas men generally never have lids on their pens.
That's because otherwise their purses get all...
Exactly.
Yes. So how did you turn this into a business then?
Well, I was writing I didn't really know how to turn it into a business. So I just, after 2 or 3 years of developing the sort of diary that I wrote at the time, it ended up being a book, and now I do talks to schools and to businesses, and then also sort of travel talks and also to WI people. I mean, there's one very simple message that I really want to put across to sort of anyone I can in the entire world, which is life is not about what you own, and that life is merely just about what you do.
Can see why that becomes something that's quite an interesting springboard and starting point for a conversation at one of those kind of meetings. So that's good. Now, I wish we had longer, but we don't. But people can find out a lot more because you've a website. So tell us about the website and where people can find out a bit more about what you do.
Yeah, sure. If you go to 80handbags.com, that's 80 with the digits. I've actually put up for all your listeners a little 4-minute movie, especially for the radio listeners, which tells you a little bit more about...
Too good to us.
Well, they deserve it, your listeners.
Yeah.
They have to put it with you all day. And that tells you the whole story in a brief synopsis.
Brilliant. Okay, well, look, good to see you. If people want to have a look, 80handbags.com. And all the best for tomorrow.
Thank you very much.
I mean, I have to say, we've said the same to everyone who's come in in a very, very fair and even-handed way. But best of luck for tomorrow. I hope it goes very well. I hope you enjoy it. So 80handbags.com if you want to find out a bit more about Will Baxter, his book, and his life-changing experience.
Wiltshire.
I don't know what it says about me, but, as we have a studio guest who rummages through people's handbags and judges them on the contents of their pockets, mine are entirely empty this afternoon. Still, there we go. Ian Ferguson, it's true. I went to reach into my pockets to see what we could gain about my personality. There's just nothing there. I don't know. It's not good at all. How's the weather?
That's the question.
Yeah, well, quite.
Right, well, weather-wise, there's nothing much there either.